There you go. Live and direct. The man them are on top. Oh, let me just change one Gucci.
Let me just plug in this thing.
Change one Gucci for next Gucci. You know how this thing moves. Wait, shall I draw the Ray-Bans on them? Bro, I nearly lost my Ray-Bans. In the cinema. But as I said, if you do good, good must come back to you. And the Ray-Bans came straight back. Someone handed them in, and I got my Ray-Bans. But anyway,
bro, you can't lose anything. I told you can't lose anything. 2 weeks ago, remember, I lost my car keys, my big Range Rover car keys, inside of the UFC watching Paddy the Baddy. Yeah, They dropped out my pocket. I went in and out, and then someone recognized me. Said, "What are you looking for?" I said, I've misplaced my keys. They said, well, you're going to have to come back tomorrow. They let me back in. As they let me back in, gone down the stairs, two black youths who were working down there who had who were working like on the floor. They said, bruv, did you lose your keys? It's me, yeah. He goes, what car is it? It's a Range Rover. I said, yeah, bruv, you have to drop me home. Give me back my keys. What are the odds? When you do good comes back. This you can't lose no things. That's impossible, man. You know that's impossible.
Impossible.
You can't lose no Ray-Bans, bro. You can't lose no Ray-Bans. Impossible.
Just give me 1 sec before we start properly. Literally 1 second. Literally. I'm gonna have to get the dark flannel.
Wait a minute. Paul L. Finance, my brother from another mother. We're even starting the show properly, right? Thank you so much for the £5. You started the thing. It's Sunday collection. We are doing the church thing up in here. Yeah, I mean, this is the building fund, right?
So let us start, as we always do, in those glorious, now recognized words across the globe. Dream it, believe it, but most of all, become it.
Come on down. Listen, man. We're going to have a glorious show today. You know what? Glorious show. Regardless of whoever jumped on the show, because we got AUDLEY Harrison coming on. We got Ambrose Mendy coming on. We got quite a few people. Everyone's talking about the fights that's coming up with the AJ fight next week. It's like people don't want to boost up this fight. We all know the propaganda that's going on right now, trying to hold back. And it's two massive entities, but I ain't going to get into that right now. I'm going to focus and concentrate solely on the fight. And yes, we need AJ to bring it back home. Just like the female England football team. All right?
We need him to bruck up this brother.
Exactly. And there's only one science that he can do, Tundi. Only one science. What's the science that AJ's got to do?
The roadman science.
Simple as that, man. I'll press the button if we had a button to press, but we don't need it because you know what time of day it is. But listen, man. Massive fight that was announced last week was Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Nigel Benn.
Popcorn thing.
Right? Definitely popcorn thing. And it is a fact where we're going to read out your thing in a second, Ram, so hold tight. It's a fact that we're also looking at the histrionics of this fight. So hopefully we're going to get Ambrose Mendy, who has been kind of wrongly sidelined in this because they're talking about the history. Seriously, they kind of push Ambrose to one. Just get over there, man.
The ancient relic.
Yeah, like he's an ancient relic. Yeah, I mean, you sound like Apollo Creed, man. No, man, they're loving you when you're blitzing and when you get out of the rings, like ancient history, man. Oh, come on now, Apollo, you ain't no ancient history. Now, but I was trying to say to you, so no, I'm saying, like on this, we can't leave out those guys because those guys have got the real stories. Those guys, because I don't care what anyone want to say. Nigel Benn at the height of his career, Nigel Benn was synonymously recognized with Ambrose Mendy because those two were a double act. I swear down. At that time, those two were a double act. And what they did in British boxing at that time, and then being brave enough to say, all right, to hell with this, we're going out to America after losing to Michael Watson to rebuild. And they weren't fighting no Muppets neither. Sanderline Williams was a hard, tough man. I'm telling you this now. All the run his nose. Ambrose will be telling it straight, Eubank wins.
yeah, straight. I'm looking forward I'm looking forward to hearing Ambrose, and I'm looking forward to hearing Audley, most definitely. Let me just read out a few comments before you
Go on.
continue. Have to go back to our brother Rams, because Rams says this is the realest host on the most honest boxing podcast online. Looking forward to this evening's breakdown. Uncle Tundi rocking the Arsenal badge. Yes, Uncle T, rep the team with honor. John Khan, he says, hold on, I just realized my TV's on it. Let me lock up my TV.
Yeah, before they try balance up and take away the Snapchat money.
Yeah, bro. They will lock off the Snapchat money. John Khan, Tundi, Arsenal start to win again, and the Arsenal shirts, tops come back out. Bro, you know how this thing goes. Old tight, Ragu or Rugo. He says, big up from Sweden. Keep telling the truth, and USYK and BENN is going to sleep. Wow. Don, the man's 15. He says, what's up? What's good, beats? Paul L Finance. Big up to my brothers Musclehead and the knowledge. Hope you're both keeping well. As for the fight, I see another Nick Blackwell situation. Conor will get damaged in this fight. Remember, I said it. Jeez. Bro, this is going to be serious tonight. Guzzy says, Salam, brothers, Spencer and Tunde and Gary. If you're there, hope you're good, guys. Gary's on a mission. I don't know. My mastery's always sending. Mine mastery strategist always sending the most love. Coco, she said, I clicked on the vid so fast. Hey, everyone. Old Ty Coco, original Sniper the Boss is in the building. And if that's the original Sniper the Boss, news leaving Matchroom, unhappy with the situation, been out 9-10 months, offered fights that's just not good enough. And he wants to move forward with his career. So I think we'll touch on that at some point.
No, we got to touch on that. We also got to get him on the show.
Yeah,
we also got to get Sniper on the show. I'm gonna phone him. Sniper, I'm gonna phone you after the show. We'll get you on maybe in a week. But yeah, we got to get you on because like people ain't. That's a massive bold move that you've taken. But there are a lot of fighters who are actually unhappy with Matchroom at this time. And I'm just telling how it is. They're just unhappy because they don't know when they're fighting. But this is what happens when you're with a new broadcaster. It's very difficult to kind of calculate when you're meant to be fighting. Remember, they came out when the zone first bust. They came out with a big ballyhoo. Eddie Hearn now would regret on his contradictory statement of like pay-per-view's dead because now this EUBANK and BENN fight is pay-per-view. Eddie Hearn's got a little bit of egg on his face, and he's got to admit that. He got a little bit of egg on his face because the zone didn't get the AJ Usyk fight, the rematch. You know what I mean? They lost to Sky. There's loads of little things that we could go touch on. But I'm just saying, listen, I don't care who's broadcasting because that's not lining my pockets. What is lining my entertainment and my soul is seeing good bloody fights. I don't care who puts them on. Let them be on BT, let them be on Sky. You know what I mean? Let them be on YouTube. Let them be on DAZN. I don't care where they are. Show us the fights and give the fans what they want to see. Because when you're a fan, that means that you're fanatical. And if you're not fanatical, sometimes you can be blatantly dramatical. So therefore, give us those things. That's what we want to see. And I think that Tunde Ajayi is on the same agreement with me. Just make the best fights happen. Don't care where they come from. Just let them happen.
The knowledge. Let's read out comments for another 2 minutes before we really get the show started. Andrew Webb, evening gents. This fight is awesome. How can people not be behind AJ? We've gotten greedy having 2 heavyweight champs. There was a time when we had no top British heavyweights. Good point, sir. We will definitely be touching on that. I know Spencer,
listen to me.
But Spencer, let's read out.
Sorry, sir.
I told you, you lot got Spencer hype. 200 currently watching. Press that like button. Press the subscribe button. Tyson Roadley says, oh yeah, it sounds like a good way to chew on a Sunday night. Thanks to Tundi and the knowledge. Old Tyson, big up. Off the canvas boxing. Good evening, gentlemen. You know that. Big up off the canvas. Let me read a few more. Guzzy says, yes, Spence, I see you on Channel 4 News. Bro, you got a call for the fight is right. You got to.
Listen, Keep on reading. I'll go back to that. Guys, I'm going to come back to yours.
All right, cool. Tusif Patel, Spence equals Badman G. EUBANK gonna do some serious damage to Ben. That comes from Ali Shah. Up the Gooners. Shola Ibn Fid. Come on. Up London TV's in the house. Left hook, right hook. But it's coming. The thing's coming. We got some exciting fights coming up. Oh, did the Zone just announce the USYK AJ fight on the Zone also? I don't know about that, but we'll be touching on that if that is the case. Takeaway.
I don't know how that one's going to work, but we'll go back to that one.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. Take away the surnames. Is it really a good fight? I don't know. Come on, the Arsenal. Yes, sir. Up London TV, best boxing podcast. And I'll add the word period. Big up Spence. Never forget you, King. Old tight Rams.
Yes, Rams.
Boxing bot. Hashtag Team USYK. Hashtag Team Ben in the house. Yeah, we're moving. What's the time now? 11 minutes past. ATR says, my heart is with AJ, but I haven't really seen any footage of him. How is he getting on? Again, questions which will be answered very soon on the show. We have two great guests coming up who are itching to give their opinion. Probably, what's the word? Blacklisted from the boxing fraternity on the whole. But you know, the fight is right. We give everyone an opportunity to talk, regardless of what people feel about them, whether it's, well, you can't say positive or negative, because if it's negative, they wouldn't be on the show. But, you know, people have a right to have an opinion, and we like to have this platform where they can talk. And I feel like people like AUDLEY Harrison and Ambrose Mendy are still key figures, historically, if anything, in the fabric of British boxing and what they have done and the part they have played. And I feel that's something that should never be forgotten about, hence why they're on our show. Andrew Webb, he says, does anyone think Eubanks could be weak to the body? Maybe that's the key. Then try and catch him out, or the clinches to the head with uppercuts, which should be doubled as the smaller man. Again, man breaking down tactics on this thing here. Big up, something I never knew. Big up Sniper. He poleaxed Eubanks in sparring.
Okay.
iBoxing Hub says, lovely, loving the Arsenal jacket. Come on, you gooners. You know the set. All right, two more, then we're ready to kick off this thing here. Rob Mayer says, hi, gents. £157 plus the rehydration clause concerns me. Stopping Junior from fully rehydrating before the bell, safe or fair? Again, we're gonna touch on that. One more, and that's a good starter there, Spence. Good starter. To Seth, should I read that? All right. Before we go back to that question, big up the two OGs in this boxing game. I think that means the Master Knowledge and the Tundi. Anyway, Spence, let's kick off the conversation. What time are we expecting AUDLEY and Ambrose?
Well, I've sent a message out. Ambrose is about 8:45.
Okay.
AUDLEY could be around about any time.
8:30.
If anything, I'll just phone him. But yeah. But before then, we'll just touch on a couple things. Number one, everybody listens to the fighters, right? And this is factual because, as you know, especially after we did the Mark Breland. After we did the Mark Breland, then people knew like, right, them two brothers are serious, right? Because remember, nobody can get hold of Mark Breland. After Mark Breland, so anything that we say always gets quoted in the newspapers. And fair play to the newspapers because they say it's from Tundia Jai Spencer, fair one of the fighters, right?
Yes, they always give us credit.
Right?
In fairness.
So, big up Addy from The Zone. He passed over my number to Channel 4 saying, listen, if anyone you want to talk about this when it comes to the history of this fight, it's one man and one man alone, Spencer Ferron. They contacted me in the morning, said, boy, could you come down? But they also saw the tweet when I said that this fight is actually the Pepsi Cola Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola war that we had in the 80s. That is what that British boxing had with EUBANK and BENN. That is the kind of magnetism that those two men brought to the game. They heard it and said, that's a really good soundbite. Would you mind coming on? We're interviewing Connor and we're interviewing Chris Jr. On the same day. So that was the day before the weigh-in, the day before the press conference day before the press conference. So I came down, did my bit, and it was kind of cool because that soundbite has trended. It trended on Twitter, it trended. But everything starts here from The Fight Is Right.
Okay.
Don't get twisted. So when what was him man's answer? It was a paycheck from Channel 4. Not more than the money that we collect on The Fight Is Right.
Okay.
Right?
Newsflash, Spence.
Go on.
Eddie Hearn has just posted USYK Joshua live in 190 countries on the Zone Boxing.
Okay, that's cool. Live on the Zone Boxing, but
Yes.
out of them 155,000 countries, not one of them is the UK, so that don't mean no difference to us.
Yeah. Available globally, excluding UK and MENA plus Ukraine. So
Okay,
it's not free for us.
All right, that's nice. But where are we living, Ton?
We're in the UK, mate. So
all right then,
UK man, bro, I think you better get your what do they call that thing? When you can watch other countries, the VPN.
VPN, yeah.
You better just activate your VPN and get it. Well, don't let me say that because Sky's going to be on at me if I say that. But yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's good news for those outside of the UK. At least it will be available to subscribers.
It will be because you got to think about it. The rest of the other countries, it's like you're penny pinching to make up bits and bobs, right? And to say, oh, then, well, the Zone's going to do the rest of the world, right? That's cool. The Zone do the rest of the world. Are the Zone bigger than Showtime? You're going to show it in America. You're bigger than Showtime. All right then, so cool. I get all that part. Well, the rest of the world's gonna get to see the fight, and the interest of Anthony Joshua is not in America, right? The interest of this fight isn't in no other country but here in the UK.
You might be right there, Spence.
What do you mean, right? Of course I'm right. What do you mean might? There's no might in this. We want to talk about might. Yes, I am mighty, but no, there's no might in this ton. Tell you this straight.
You always have to put a philosophical spin.
That's right. There's no might in this thing. But let me tell you this, yeah? UK man are building this fight. Because the UK man are going to be doing the pay-per-view. Right. I know in America, it's going to be out. It's not going to be pay-per-view in America. Right? Because if they dreamed of doing that, they better wake up and apologize. If they dreamed of doing that, it'll be disastrous for them. Right? They could do this own pay-per-view for Canelo because 1 in 3 Mexicans watch Canelo when he fights Tundi. So you could do that with Canelo. But don't dream of trying to do that with Anthony Joshua. Right? Because the last recollection that Americans have of Anthony Joshua was seeing him get put on his bottom by Andy Ruiz. So they can't, that's not going to sell.
Anyway.
No one don't know. No one. Sorry to cut you, Ton. Nobody don't know USYK in America like that. So they better be giving it out on the app for free.
Is there someone on your phone, Spence?
Why is it? Is we getting thingy?
Look at your phone. I can hear some echo thing.
AUDLEY Harrison says he's in. So check AUDLEY Harrison.
No, I told you. Text AUDLEY Harrison is in, bro. You have to know how to do this TV thing, you know.
What are you talking about? AUDLEY just said I'm in.
The man don't even have to do the TV thing.
Tundi just said, look, AUDLEY Harrison, I'm in straight.
Yeah, and then what does the following text is? I said, I'm not reading the thing, Spence.
Tundi, I like
business. Bro, you got to teach this man a TV thing, you know, bro. So you don't have to run the thing properly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
it's hot. I'm sweating, bro.
Without further ado, the one, the only, the irrepressible. I want you to hear the words. The irrepressible, the mighty, the man that really gave GB amateur system the lift. the man who is the most spoken about on this thing here. People always call for this particular individual.
Straight.
Clearly showing he still is relevant. He still has a voice, and he's still someone the boxing public and people in general want to hear from. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to you. And the fight is right, the one, the only, Audley Harrison.
Come on.
Boy. You know how to make a man feel good on a Sunday, you know.
Come on.
Big up Tunde, big up Spencer, big up UK crew, big up people in Europe if you're listening, big up people in America if you're listening, big up people all around the world, you get me? So respect for that, Tunde. And you know what I mean? I just came from London. It was a beautiful thing. Weather was good, people was good, vibe was good. And, you know, Commonwealth Games was on. I wasn't trying to, like, run around and everything, but it was good to just go there. And the vibes was good. Like, everyone who see me, give me love. They still know me. You get me? So it's good. It's good to feel, because that's where it started. The Commonwealth Games is where my journey started, where people knew I was on a big mission, not just for me, or for British boxing, you know what I mean? Because that Commonwealth Games gold is where the money
1998,
started.
you know.
That's where it started, where I got that gold medal got us the 500K that allowed us to go to the Olympic qualifiers. The Olympic gold is what allowed us to get that 4 million that now we have the English Institute of Sport. Look how well we're doing. But if I never won that gold, there would be no Olympic lottery funding. There would be no world-class performance plan. And I know self-praise is no recommendation, but I have to say it because people don't like to say it. But that's just the real talk of it, you know. And they try and diminish how big it is. But, you know, it's big. That was my mission, you know, like to take control of all of that pot.
Tunde, sorry to interrupt you here, yeah?
Yeah.
Tunde's always told me about, we talk about self-praise is no recommendation.
Bro, you must be reading my mind.
Right. Tunde, please tell him about this self-praise. Self-praise is the only recommendation.
The man who came up with that quote is a liar.
To trick people.
The man who came up with a quote don't want you to realize your power.
Right.
You have to praise yourself. You have to acknowledge the achievements that you have done.
Yeah.
It's not enough. So I don't know where this saying come from. I'm still waiting for someone to tell me you said it, because whoever it is, we need to rush him.
Yeah, real talk. It's like people like in England. It's just a wicked mindset that they have. That you gotta like dim your light. That you gotta dim your light. You know, and I've always been about shining my light bright. I used, like, even when I was coming up, I remember being in Crystal Palace, 1996. I'm in Crystal Palace in my bright red tracksuit. They won't even let me in the room where the England squad are training. But I know in 4 years' time, I'm going to be in that room. So I'm walking around in my bright tracksuit. They're like, who's this guy? I'm at the ABAs. Way before I won the ABAs, like walking around like I was something. Because I'm like, you guys are going to recognize and know this guy. So they looked at me like I was some joker. Even at the Olympics, they're like, I went around every team and said, look, I'm AUDLEY HARRISON, I'm going to win the gold medal. You get me? I had no shame in my game because I knew where I was going. You know what I mean? And it's that confidence that kind of like it's Americanized, because in England they kind of frown it. He's too bossy. You get me? He's got it like his shit don't stink. And it was all the marketing thing of like making yourself like out there, because in England they were trying to impress me. I wanted boxing to be so big, the Olympic style boxing. I wanted it so big, and I had to match it by getting the gold medal. Because if you run at your mouth and you do all of that and you don't do it, then you get shot in the foot. Just like as a pro, as you saw, when I fell, they were able to shoot me in the foot because I talk the same way. And if you don't deliver, it's like Mayweather. You cannot drop the ball not once. And he just kept it. And I walked that same road, but then I didn't deliver the goods. So it put me in a bad position, because you have to make sure when you talk like that, you have to deliver the goods. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's all past the past, but we're talking about some big fights. I know you guys have got me on to talk about the big fights, so
yes, sir. Well, listen, let's fire away, because
where you lot want me?
No better man, I feel, to talk about this upcoming fight. Well, I mean, there's two fights which we're going to touch on, but the first one is the USYK Alexander Usyk, the unified champion, versus the man trying to regain those belts, Anthony Joshua. Next week, we're less than 7 days away. What's your outlook on this fight? Because many people, as you know, have opinions, and many people are backing AJ. Many people are not backing AJ. Usyk has already delivered once, and usually that means you're going to deliver again. But I'm very interested, and I know Spencer's been saying all week, I want to hear all these thoughts and opinions on this, and tactically, how both men can go about winning this contest.
Yeah, so, I've given this some good thought. I've gone online, done my due diligence. When I was boxing, I used to, work with great matchmakers, Johnny Boss in America, but I used to do a lot of my own homework. And one of the best places to start when you're looking at, breaking down a fight is to go on and look at their record and look who they've fought, and see if you can find any comparisons who they've fought. So I've done that for this fight. I've also done it for BENN and EUBANK as well, just to give you guys the respect, you know what I mean, and just do my due diligence like I would do going on any show. And the thing about this fight with Joshua, he's fighting a southpaw, which a lot of orthodox people find difficult anyway. He's only fought one southpaw, Prince Charles. He's fought one southpaw before, so it was probably difficult for him anyway when he was preparing to fight Usyk the first time, because he doesn't have a lot of experience. Number one, because he came up pretty quick. He fought Charles, won the title. Then you're kind of in the deep end. It's like Lennox when he fought brother. You're kind of in the deep end. You're kind of learning. You don't have much time to learn now, but you still need to learn.
Yes.
And when Lennox lost, it's almost some of the best times he's lost. He's able to make the adjustments and then come back, normally with a new team. So Joshua's kind of done that. He lost to Ruiz. He, made some adjustments, came back the second time. Okay, Ruiz wasn't the same Ruiz, but he still made the adjustments, made the work easy. Just like Lennox has done, just like Vladimir has done, where you move to a new trainer. So trainer's number one. You move to an Emmanuel Stewart, he's a closer. Now, Joshua's tried to do the same thing. Now he's got Garcia. The question you got to ask yourself, is Garcia a closer? Probably not for a heavyweight. Probably not. What he's done with Mickey Garcia is great. I love Garcia. I love Robert Garcia. Great trainer. For Joshua, maybe not the right guy, in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe he is. It's all going to be find out. So Joshua's made those moves like a Lennox, like a Vladimir, and you've gone to somebody else now who's going to hopefully close it off. Because after this, you probably haven't got much chance after this change and find a new trainer. So a lot's going to depend on how Garcia sees this fight and how what he's bringing to the game. Because the weakness Joshua has, and just want to pull it out there, I hope Joshua does it. I'm a Brit. He's a black brother from Britain, Olympics gone through. I hope he does it. So I'm just putting it out there. Joshua, I'm rooting for you. I hope you can pull it out. You know what I mean? So that's just putting it out there. The reality of it is Usyk, with his, even looking through Usyk's record, he's got people like Michael Hunter on there who he couldn't bang out. So he's not that he's an awesome big power puncher.
Yes, sir.
Joshua should be able to go the distance with him if he don't burn himself out. Get tired, because in the last fight he just got burnt out because he was trying to figure it out, and Usyk was just giving him the blues technically. And when you get in a fight situation, you start as a fighter, and it's not, everything's difficult trying to figure it out, and the guy's backing you up, he's coming forward. He just gave Joshua too many tricks, and Joshua couldn't figure that out, and that's what burnt him out. Well, necessarily because Usyk is not like he's a big, he's heavy, and you see Usyk's put on extra weight for this fight, so he's put on weight, which could be to his detriment if Joshua does it right. Because Joshua, to win this fight, you've got to be able to jab the guy. You've got to be able to fight him as a southpaw. So you've got to be stepping around him, and every time you can't stand still with him. You've got to step around him, and you've got to be feinting him, jabbing him, head and body, and then every time you get close, you've got to bang him up, and you've got to turn him out. See, the thing about the big heavyweights, you see Lennox, you see Vladimir, they all learned it in the end. Lennox got it down quick. And I had it down quick because I told Torrance, you knew how to fight on the inside. Every time they come on the inside, they're supposed to be walking onto a shot. If they're not walking onto a shot, you're leaning on them and pushing them down. And if you're not pushing them down, then you're just roughing them up on the inside. And Joshua hasn't learned those tricks that will make his life much easier when you're fighting these kind of fights. See, Vladimir didn't know it in the beginning. Vladimir learned it in the end. Not perfect, but he learned it enough to get through. You've got, as a heavyweight, you've got to be able to tie up guys. You've got to be able to walk them onto shots, whether it's the uppercut you're walking on to, or you're walking onto a body shot. They've got a fear when they're coming in that they're going to be getting something. And so right now, Joshua doesn't have those tricks. Garcia knows all those tricks, and that's what he needed to add. So that's maybe why he went with Garcia, because you've got to be able to hit the guys he's coming in, even if you've got to make him miss and make him pay. So the idea in the heavyweights is that you're lining up a guy and you're just adjusting yourself to punch. So I'm moving away, but really you're walking on, you're adjusting yourself to punch. So you're looking to hit him. You're not trying to get away from the shot. And that's what Joshua needs to, he's got to go into the war zone in this fight. So he's got to go in close, but he can't afford to take punishment. He's got to be able to back up USYK comfortably and be able to land shots, because you've got to burn the guy's energy. USYK can't be as strong in the 6th round as he is in the 1st. By the 6th, 7th, and 8th, he's got to be feeling the pace of the fight, but he's got to be feeling the punishment of the fight. And the only way Joshua can do that is by fighting smart and being able to have the ring prowess that he hasn't really shown. He showed it a little bit with Ruiz. He's shown it with Vladimir fight. He kind of just showed his balls. You know, he showed it like I can get in there with you. Because he was fighting a guy who's bigger, and that was the right strategy. But for this guy, USYK, he has to have some of those boxing tricks that he hasn't really shown. He showed a little bit in the Ruiz fight, but he has to have those tricks. So I hope that's what he's worked on. He's got to stay in there. He's got to be calm, and he's got to be deadly. Like, the other thing about rematches that I want to touch on, like when you're having a rematch, right? You've seen it with Mickey Ward, and I was fortunate to be at Mickey Ward Gatti. I was at one of those fights. Lennox Hassim Rahman, right, is another one. Like the mindset, like even me, Danny Williams too, right? The mindset for a rematch, right, is it ain't about the money. It's like no boy test. You know, Lennox used to say no boy test. That was my mentality for Danny Williams too. Like it was like, it wasn't about the money. It was like no boy test. No matter what happened, I'm going to win that. No matter what, I'm going through you. This is about what it's about. And you go back to what you got into boxing for, right? And you look in the mirror and you say, whatever it takes, I'm going to get that victory. And that mindset, the payback. You know, you see Lennox walk out. When I was walking out, it was nothing in my mind but the payback, right? And so that's a place where it's like Deontay Wilder when he fought Tyson Fury in the 3rd fight. He went to that place. He didn't care whether he died or whatever. He didn't get the victory, but he had the mindset. Like a lot of fighters don't want to go. You go to that place when you want to get those victories, and you normally see them in those rematches. And so I hope Joshua. I know he's been quite quiet with this. You know, he hasn't said much. But if Joshua can go to that place, don't matter who he's fighting, he's going to go through them. You know what I mean? Because he has that dog heart spirit, and you're going there with you're calm, confident, but you've got that dog heart spirit. And no matter what it takes, I'm going to get that.
Question, please. Do you think whatever game plan AJ comes with, it would be something that Alexander Usyk has never seen before?
Yeah, like looking through USYK's record, if you look through his record, I mean, he had a great amateur career, and I know he fought a lot. And he's gone through Bellew, and then Bellew was a good fight. It was close. The fight was close all the way through. You look at the points. And then you look who he fought. Like I said, he fought Michael Hunter as a pro, and he fought some tough, like European fighters. He's fought some tough guys. Yeah? Like, look at the people he's fought heavyweights. I know he's moving up. Like Joshua's a real big heavyweight, and I know Usyk's moving into that. If Joshua fights him like a big, strong heavyweight and bullies him, pushes him back, but every time you're getting close, you see how Lennox fought Tyson. Every time Tyson got close, Lennox leaned on him or he pushed him. Pushed him or hit him. You got to fight him like a big man. So that's how Joshua needs to fight. Every time they're in close, you put your weight on him. you hit him low, you hit him on the elbow, you hit him on the hip. You've got to fight him like a big man. All those tricks, Garcia knows. If Garcia adds that to him, there was too much resting time for. See, Usyk in the first fight, every time he got in close, he was able to throw shots, get out. He never had to worry about nothing coming at him. You know, everything Joshua was doing was in mid-quarter range. Every time Usyk was coming in, Joshua was trying to catch him at that mid-quarter range. And if Usyk slipped him, he was on the inside, and he could just tuck him in head or body. He had an open. That's got to change for this fight, because that's how you fight.
When you say it's got to change, yeah, what exactly would Anthony Joshua have to do to alleviate that southpaw stance of Usyk? Because if you watch the first fight, I've watched the first fight, and like Tony was saying, like the first fight was kind of close. I was saying I was ringside at that fight, right? Mm-hmm. And going back and watching the fight, like being ringside there, I say, right, you're losing this fight, bro. Coming home and watching it recently, like 2 days ago, Anthony Joshua hurt Usyk many times in that fight, you know. When I was there, I didn't realize that he hurt him like that. He hurt him quite a few times, especially when he went downstairs to the body. Like certain times he go downstairs to the body, but I think the problem in the first fight was that Anthony Joshua was trying to outthink a man that was a greater thinker than he. What's your take on that, Audley?
Yeah, I agree. I kind of touched on it a little earlier with his boxing mind. He definitely got hurt. But imagine if he just stepped up, if the game plan was a little bit more coordinated. So, like I said, he was beating him up in the third quarter range. But when they was up close, Usyk wasn't getting no punishment. So you imagine if what you saw was 100% correct. Imagine if he was doing what he was supposed to do on the inside, putting weight on him, hitting him low, hitting him in the body, hitting him on, like there was no uppercuts. Joshua's got a great uppercut. The uppercut that he put down Dylan White. He got a beautiful uppercut, come back with the left hook. Usyk's not going to be able to take that kind of punishment on the inside. He just
but I know, I hear that, but isn't being able to throw those shots a lot to do with the IQ of the opposition?
Yeah. Partly,
very good question, Todd.
Yeah, partly. I mean, like, you know, Dylan White, as everybody's been able to capitalize on with those uppercuts, they're all saying, oh, he's open for those uppercuts. But you see, if you're a southpaw, no matter what fighter you are, no matter what fighter, you're southpaw or orthodox, right? If Joshua's doing what he's supposed to do, there's lots of openings on the body. Start with the body and then move up to the head. If the uppercut...
Audley, what you're saying is if Joshua does what he's supposed to do, what is he meant to do, Audley? Because like I want people to realize this, yeah. I've been in this game a long time.
Yeah.
Like I'll speak to guys. Nobody can't really break down this thing like Audley Harrison, you know. Audley really studies this thing. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep myself out of it because, you know what I mean? We know self-praise is no recommendation, but it's recommendation. I'm going to keep myself out of it for now. But what would he have to do to make the difference to secure victory?
Yeah, he has to incorporate a jab in this fight. His jab, he had a kind of like finding jab, right? It's like find my way jab.
There was no confidence behind that jab.
Right. It's like a finding jab. And one of the things you've got to have as a heavyweight, or make your life easier if you want to dominate as a heavyweight, is you got to have a check jab. You got to have especially when you're fighting a southpaw. So one of the things he's got to do, I believe, in this fight, he's got to have a jab, he's got to have the feint jab, and he's got to be able to step around. And if he could just like soften his jab up a bit, like work. If they've worked on that jab, know that the jab is the key. He's just fighting a southpaw, and if he's just stepping around, pat. Usyk's not going to see the right hand. He's got a master right hand. Everyone knows he's got a decent right hand. And see, Joshua could never land that right hand clean. He landed a few of them, but he was always struggling trying to find it. If he would just add the jab, add a little feint, and you might say, well, how's Joshua going to learn a feint right now? But he can. It's just like how to step across. Just understand ring control. Like there's a way that you move around the ring. Like control the ring. It's like control the tempo of the fight. And you can only control the tempo of the fight by how? Either feinting or you're tying the opponent up, you're leaning on the opponent. You can't just do it from boxing. You've got to either tie the opponent up or you've got to be feinting. You've got to be able to stop the opponent from walking forward. Now you can do go punch him, man. Just like knock him out. It's not as simple as that. That's why you got the feint.
When you was just talking about the jab from the outside, I just thought about a fight that came into my head was the Riddick Bowe Holyfield fight.
Yeah.
And the way Riddick Bowe, the way Holyfield would use the jab to get inside and rock with a big man.
Right. November 1992, the first fight you're talking about.
The first fight.
Yeah.
The first fight. And even the second fight to some degree. I mean, all the fights are great fights.
Beautiful.
But Holyfield was an aggressive fighter. I love the way Holyfield fight. And I feel Anthony Joshua should have watched some of them tapes there. Because this, in my opinion, I've heard Audley's, I've heard Spencer's breakdown. But to me, we are all sounding way too technical for this fight. This fight, as I said, from day one, from the lead up to the first fight, I said it's a roadman fight. This is back to East London, North London, West, South, just on the block, fam. Because I'm saying, as technical and brilliant as our minds are in breaking down boxing strategies, you can't outthink this brother.
Yeah, but I want to give you a devil's advocate though. But let me give you a devil's advocate to what you just said, which is perfect.
God's advocate when I work on a devil in that sort.
No, but let me just give real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk.
No, go on.
To what you just said, because using Holyfield is a good example. Very technical, but he's fighting like a roadman.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true.
He's fighting like a roadman because he's getting in there. Riddick Bowe is a great example. He popped back out of range.
Yes.
Up on his feet.
Yes.
Go back into range. Go to war. Pop back out.
Yep.
Turn around. Pop back. Always got that bounce.
Yes.
And that bounce allowed him to buy time. Allowed him to roll under shots. Allowed him to go forward, go back. So that's what I'm saying. He kind of has a little bounce, but it's just not organized. It's like Evander Holyfield. Everything he done made sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Lennox was bigger than him. Lennox would push him on and made it hard. But he always found it because he had that bounce. That bounce is his way he came out, came back out, and he'd go back in again. Moving around, double jab, then he'd go to war. And every time you came into Holyfield, you know you were taking something. So every time USYK comes in, he's supposed to get checked. Every time he come in, he's going to stop coming in.
Yes.
A special fighter to keep getting beaten up. And you're not, and the man's throwing shots, and you got to change your game plan. He had it his own way. Yeah, he took some punishment, and he was getting hurt in the fight, but he basically had it his own way.
Yes.
Joshua has to, like you say, exactly what you said about roadman. He's got to come with that roadman mentality, like I've just mindset. But we also got to give him the tools, and that's what I'm hoping Garcia is giving him the tools, so that he can bring the whole thing together.
Yes.
Because do you think the desire? Sorry, Tony. Go on.
Roadman science. Before we bring in the knowledge, when I say this, you just beautifully broke down what I mean by roadman science. I'm not telling him to just go on like he's in Peckham frontline, just swinging. I'm saying there has to be strategic thought to the aggression, but he has to stay on top of him, and that was a wonderful exegesis of how roadman science is supposed to work. There's got to be thought to it, but it has to be an aggressive manner, because I just feel that all the technical stuff. I mean, even you're talking about Robert Garcia. Who am I to call Robert Garcia not the right man for the job? I mean, I can't say that, but Bob Arum is, and Bob Arum said what I said. What heavyweight has he trained? He ain't trained no heavyweight. Is this more of a language barrier thing for Angel Fernandez? Because them man, they speak the same tongue. So maybe Fernandez feels comfortable having someone that he can speak the language to, more than how it benefits Anthony Joshua. Because I'm only worried about Anthony Joshua. I'm saying Maybe, I don't know. I heard Ronnie Shields didn't really give a good example of himself when he came to England to work with AJ. But that's there. And you know what? I mean, maybe I'm just talking. I just want the best for the guy. And I just love the way you broke down the road, man, Sam. Spence, go ahead.
We've seen like on many a rematch, Anthony Joshua, because this fight has now been announced for the Ring Magazine World Heavyweight Championship as well, since Tyson Fury has retired from boxing.
Can I just say they've now announced that he has till August the 26th to make up his mind. So how convenient that is. Because
Yeah.
bro, so basically AJ wins the fight, bro. We ain't retired nothing.
Exactly.
That's a big fight. But anyway, go
But
ahead.
the Ring Magazine belt is also it's up for that title as well. So the winner of that fight gets the Ring Magazine belt. When we look at the histrionics of the sport, and we've seen like in rematch what AJ's trying to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What he's trying to do is to do something that Ali done properly, and what also Lennox Lewis did, but Lennox Lewis didn't win the title the first time he got given the WBC crown, when we know that famously Riddick Bowe threw the WBC crown in the bin, and then he was elected as the World Heavyweight Champion, similarly to what happened in 1978 when the WBC gave the crown to Ken Norton, and then Ken Norton defended it against Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes beats him. What Andy Josh is trying to do is to become the third man in history to win a world title in the heavyweight division 3 times. Do you think that's going to be pressurizing on Anthony Joshua, thinking that, right, what I'm doing? Because we see Eddie Hearn, and remember, is Audley bust Eddie Hearn, you know? I want people to realize that. Don't get twisted on that one. Audley was the one that brought Eddie Hearn into Sky and showed him how pay-per-view worked, right? Audley don't want to talk about it, but I'll talk about it because I'm very proud of what my brother done. You know what I mean? In fact, Eddie Hearn should be cutting you a check each month. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Right? But I'm saying, do you think there's going to be pressure on Anthony Joshua looking at the magnitude of this fight? Allegedly, he's getting £35 million for this fight, and Usyk getting the same. Do you think there's going to be a weight of pressure on Anthony Joshua's shoulders, which will make him kind of come in very, very stiff and not relax, allowed Frank Bruno on many occasions because of the weight of the world seemed like it was on his shoulders? Do you think that's going to be the case for Anthony Joshua?
Just like from what I saw a post from somebody the other day. It was some podcast the other day, and I can't remember the podcast. It was like CEO of a diary, CEO of Diary of a CEO.
Okay.
So a British brother, Stephen Bartlett or something. I saw a podcast, and somebody wrote in the comments, "Get Anthony Joshua on here. He never exposes what his inner feelings are, right?" And so I think they've done a good. I remember meeting Joshua's team after the Olympics, after he won the gold, and they were like, everyone was protecting him. You know, we got to protect him. So they've kept him in that cocoon. Like me, I was my own boss, so I wanted to be exposed. I got exposed to everything, which could have worked out to my detriment. Everything that happened came true Audley. You get me? With Joshua, it seemed like everything that happened, they keep it away from him. He's not involved. They keep the drama away from him. They keep a lot of the business away from him. Even though he's involved, a lot of the stuff seems to miss him. So he can just, some people need that. He can just focus on the boxing. And it seemed like that's worked for him and working for him. So I think he's cut out from all of that. Like, even knowing that the significance that you're fighting for the champion the third time, I think that significance is lost on him a little bit, because I think they've done a good job, which is of protecting him and allowing him to avoid the drama. You know what I mean? I think that's my assumption. It's not fact, but I think he's just in there, focusing on the boxing and cutting out the rest of the world right now, which is the right thing to do for what's on the table. I just hope he's in there and they are like, like they are just in there, just like you're in the mountaintop, even though you didn't go to the mountaintop. Like Lennox used to go Big Bear, I used to go Big Bear, like go away from it all, and you just have a beautiful time in camp where all it's about is revenge. Like that Daniel Williams fight. All I could think, I think I had a poster of Daniel. All I could think about was the payback. Get what I'm saying? Like I eat, sleep. He should be eating, sleeping, USYK. You get me? So when you walk out there, you've covered everything in your mind. As I said, like even though Wilder lost, you know, big up Fury, he's fighting a fighting man. I know from, and I spoke to them before they left, just like I'd reached out to them because I'd known him from camp before we boxed. And, you know, I look bit love for Fury. I just wanted Deontay to do himself justice. You know, I wanted, because it was such great fights. And he went out and done himself justice. He win, lose, or draw. He walked, because he lost that respect in it. And he went back there, he lost, but he got back that respect in it. The way he fought in that third fight, but that's the way they prepared. And he prepared to like, he's gonna have to go through me. He's gonna have to do what, he's gonna have to knock me the hell out.
Yes.
Yeah, but do you think Anthony Joshua is gonna have that mindset?
But this is what I started to think of. He has to, that's where he needs to go to.
I believe so.
About the dollar, I need to go. If I'm going hospital here, don't dare you stop this fight. You get me? Whatever it takes, I'm going in there to win. And if I get carried out on a stretcher, I get carried out on a stretcher. That's what's on the line here. It's not about the money. It's not about the belts. It's just about man to man. I want payback. And if he went there,
AJ's coming with that. AJ's coming with that.
If he went there mentally, which I believe, I'm hoping and believing that he does, he's USYK's in for a surprise. USYK's in for a tough night.
I think AJ is gonna garner all the spirit and just let it go. And if them man there, Garcia and Fernandez ain't telling him that, this is what I'm trying to say. He needs that. Because he can be an individual and he can be, you know, he can be that soul character that motivates, that inspires themselves. But this is energy we're dealing with. And I feel that, I mean, even listening to this show can give AJ the spirit. Because we're all here supporting him and we all want, you know, I just hope that he listens to this show because you're right, Audley. He needs
they listen. They listen.
But when I say to you, that it's like, let me give you another analogy now. I was in the Olympics. I used the Olympics because it was such a peak performance of my career in terms of performance, like perfection. When I was in my dorm, I know I'm winning the gold. I'm there for the gold. I know I'm winning the gold. Nothing's going to stop me. But like when the first gold medalist won, I think it was Jason Quealy on the bike. When I heard the anthem, I had a vicarious experience from that. That lifted me. I already know I'm doing it, but that helped give me more juice. When Denise Lewis won her gold, and I'm listening on the podium watching them, the energy is just rolling through. You can't even stop. You want to feel the energy in me. I had this all the way through, like I said, walking out with Danny, walking out, and I fought Michelle Cecilia. That energy is in me because I've got the vibes of people that whatever I've got, but for me, it's already there. And this amplifying that voice. This is amplifying. So if Joshua comes in and listens to this show, if Joshua hears me, if he wherever he is, it should just amplify. It should it just makes him big because it's all already inside. And you're calm, you're content, you know what you're gonna do, your team's working for you, and then you hear, like say you heard this show, it's just reinforcing what you already know you need to do. Because if you're at this stage right now and you're still not sure what you need to do, we know he's in trouble, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You already know 100% we've got this. And when you hear us touching on these things, he'd be like, blood fire, you know what I mean? Because he already know. We're all on the outside, and because I've had the fortune of being in there at the highest stage and fighting in these fights, I've just been blessed. Like, you know, when we touch on Conor Ben and we'll touch on Conor. We'll touch on Ben.
We'll touch on that in a bit. We just want to. So, in closing on this AJ thing, right? What's your thoughts of the fight? Like, we're seeing like Saudi Arabia being boosted for professional boxing now, right? Especially for the big fights, and they're going big for like with the sports ministry, a skills challenge, Prince Khalid. They're pushing this agenda hard out there. Like, do you think like that could be like a main capital hub for sport, like Saudi Arabia? Well,
the thing is, they've got the money to do it. They've got the money to problem. And people talk money. Money make people do things, isn't it? So it's a kind of disadvantage for AJ not to have a full British arena screaming his name, that kind of excitement that you get. Going away to Saudi Arabia, I know they've got, like, it's difficult to get into the country. It's not as easy. You have to get visa and stuff. It's not like 10,000 Brits can easily go like going to Vegas. It's a little bit more challenging, but they've got the infrastructure, they've got the sense, they've got the money, they've got everything they can to do what they like, to turn wherever they want into gold, isn't it, really? Because they got the money, they got the finances, and money talk. And, you talk to a promoter about, hey, look, we'll give you a guarantee. Being a promoter is not as easy as people think. I've been a promoter. You've got to balance the books always. Having that Saudi Arabia money allows you not to worry about balancing the books, so you can be a bit more loose, And so they've obviously, I can only imagine that finances, the financial value of come to Saudi Arabia is what's brought them there. I can't see that anything else but that, because coming to Wembley Arena is a big draw, isn't it?
It is a big draw, but we're thinking about it before. USYK went into the Lions then, and the last time when they fought last year, because USYK was in front of 68,000 people. USYK walked in with a visor on, 68,000 people. There must have been about 200 Ukrainians inside there, right? And USYK, totally, his mental focus, his cerebralness is very, very powerful, because he blocked all of that out, walked to the ring and said, come, let's go have this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's powerful. So when you're saying, well, you know what, it would help Joshua if he had the British fans, he had the British fans there last time, it didn't help him.
Yeah, it didn't help.
Maybe it could be a bit easier for Joshua now. He's saying, right, you know what?
Yeah, no, so
I'm here in front of, like, there's gonna be fans there anyway, because they built up a new stadium and everything else. So, you know what I mean, what's that? Skills Challenge Entertainment, we got to big them up. They've got this new stadium. Joshua could be feeling more at ease to think, right, well, I haven't got the British fans there, and I'm gonna actually do this for me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this for me, and I hope he takes that mindset.
Yeah, fair point. It could take
before we go on. Got to big up the Snapchat. Thank you, Granule Sachs, for the £10. He says, AJ needs to go in the ring and say to himself, this guy is disrespecting me just by stepping in the ring. Deal with him warrior style. Punch man in the head. Hold tight, Granule Sachs. Thank you for your contribution to the show as well, my man. Thanks a lot. Before you go on, someone said some nice words about you. Let me just get that up there before you go on. It was from, I think, Matt Collier. I saw it. Yeah, Matt Cullifield. He said, Audley, I watched you box in Darling Harbour, Sydney Olympics, and Evander Holyfield was sitting at ringside. Good times, brother. Yes, sir. The man, they remember you, Odds. They remember the good times.
In fact, they came and picked me up, and they picked up Holyfield. We went in an open top car, me and Holyfield together. And we drove around Sydney in the car. Everybody saying, Holyfield. He's like, that's going to be you next. You get me, we're riding together. I've had some amazing experiences, just from going through this journey.
God bless you, man. God bless you.
Yeah.
All right, Oli, to speed up things now, because we've got a massive fight October the 9th.
8th. You keep on saying the 9th, bro.
Oh, I keep on saying it. Sorry.
It's going to be 30 years to the day.
Right, of their two fathers. That was on a rematch, which they had at Old Trafford, and they had 40,000 people there then, right? And that was for the unified super middleweight title, the WBC and the WBO title, WBO being held by Chris Eubank Senior, and the WBC held by Nigel Benn. Now we flip the page, and we have their two sons fighting. It's a big fight, Audley. It's a juicy fight. It's a juicy fight simply for the histrionics. You know what I mean? We're around the same age group, so you remember that first time when they fought, which was November 18th on a Sunday. They got just under 20 million viewers on ITV. I remember 8 weeks prior to that, Nigel Benn uttered the famous words that I really do hate him. Remember that? right? On midweek sports special. I see some guy doing some promo for it saying, oh yeah, you was on Newsnight. No, they weren't on Newsnight. Newsnight's BBC. They were fighting on ITV, bro. Right?
The knowledge.
There's too much hurry come ups in this game, you know? And they're talking nonsense. And I know if all of them heard that interview, they pulled them up the same way, because I know all likes to study up this thing.
Right.
Tell our viewers and our fans how big the two dads were and what a great fight we could get out of these two, and how do you see this fight going on?
So, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubanks, the fathers, like the fight, the rivalry, the anticipation, what they delivered as a fight. I mean, just the two characters, Christopher Livingston Eubanks, it was just a character in himself. And Nigel Benn was just no nonsense. And Nigel Benn was just like, look, I'm for the people and F you, but Eubanks they both like polarized the nation, like the whole nation. These are super middleweight. The whole nation basically tuned into this fight. This fight captured the imagination, and both like great matchups. Like Ben was just trying to take your head off at any opportunity, and the sons are very similar. Like Ben had a great chin. I mean, Eubanks had a great chin. You could hit him with a kitchen sink. You weren't putting that brother down. You get me? I think one time I think somebody dropped Eubank, but you weren't putting that guy down. Maybe was it Watson through exhaustion in that fight? I can't remember. Did he touch down one time?
Watson, September 21st.
Touchdowns one time.
Yeah.
Ben had been down a few times, but you didn't worry about that.
1991 in their rematch.
Yeah.
And that was Spurs, on the Spurs ground.
But if Ben go down, he's coming back up, and he's coming back up with fire. So the thing about the Suns now, when you talk about fights that capture the imagination and what ends up being great fights. So yeah, those were great fights. And I was going to mention it to you guys earlier. I was just thinking up about parents, like kids, like the kids who were kind of following their parents and what's been great fights that I could look back on. And I went back to Layla Ali and Jackie Frazier in 2001. I was there. It was at the Hall of Fame in Tanstanona, New York. And they set this match up. People was like, this is going to be some joke thing. Layla Ali was like her father, and Jackie Frazier was like her dad. And when I say that these two were fighting like cats and dogs, I think the fight when Layla won the fight. But when I say they were fighting like their parents, and the reason why I'm mentioning that, because Jackie was throwing body shots. Layla was like doing like how her father fought, and it was incredible to watch it. And the crowd were going mad. The reason why I'm mentioning that, because just from looking at that press conference, I see, Christopher standing there suave, Chris Judah standing there suave, and Nigel looking at Conor looking at his face, no fear. You get me? Looking up at him, no fear. So I already see reminiscence of the appearance. And we're going to get that in this fight. You get what I'm saying? Because you've got a weight advantage. Yeah, you've got a height advantage. Yeah, you've got a weight advantage, you've got a height advantage. And you really just looking in Conor's eye, he don't business. That's not. He's taking the fight.
Yeah, Spencer, stop yamming on the thing, man. What's the matter with you?
You're hungry. He's like, I need to get this food. You tell him to the. I'm not going to tell him. I'm just watching. Like,
no, he's just yamming on the thing.
I will eat on the show.
But
Sorry.
Conor Benn's got a reach advantage, he's got a weight advantage, but he's taking the fight thinking he can win. Just look in his eye. He's like, this guy think he can just walk through me? He said, what, you think you're just going to walk through me? You ain't walking through me. You know what I'm saying? Junior is like, shit, I'm walking through you. You get me? So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Me personally, I can't really see the similarities from the father's fight to this fight, because both fathers were world champions. Mm-hmm. Neither of these guys have fought for a world title.
Long time.
One. I know Eubanks has got the IBO or something like that, but bro, you buy that belt down Peckham. But it's still a legitimate world title. But I feel that there's just different stages of their career, and I'm not sure if Connor really has been on that big. You know, Eubanks has got the Groves and the Billy Joe Saunders fights under his belts.
Yeah.
He campaigned in America. He's been in the gym in America. You know, I was there in Floyd's gym. He was busting up people in Floyd's gym. Eubanks Jr. was bracking up man in Floyd's gym. Bigger guys.
From when I was still boxing, I see him in the gym. When I was boxing, he's in the gym with me in Vegas.
Yeah, bracking up guys. So I'm not too sure. You know, there's been talk about the rehydration clause and what have you. But I don't know. Something tells me that this fight is a money fight.
Yeah, it's a money fight.
Strictly. Do the people that really handle Conor really think that he can beat Eubanks Jr.? Because there's a lot of skills involved in this thing here. And I believe Eubanks Jr. has a lot of skill. I've said this to Spence for a long time.
But what I want to tell you is this. Look, you've just knocked it exactly on the head what it is. It's like somebody said to me not too long ago about opportunities. Right? Opportunities come, right? And they come past you. You either grab it or you don't. And once it's gone, right? Eubank Jr. is not, he's coming, like, finding a big fight right now is like a little difficult, isn't it? And you've got Conor Ben, who just won a good fight, just had a good performance, didn't he? Against, who did he fight?
Algeria.
No, he beat Algeria, then he had another fight.
Algeria, and then he fought last.
I remember that. He put him to school. And the thing is now taking opportunities, understanding, and you know Eddie Hearn, he's a businessman, first and foremost. He's a promoter, but he's a businessman. So they're looking at this thing and they're saying, look, latch onto your father's legacy. Let's make this fight right now, because this is probably, to get titles is not going to be needed because of your father's legacy. And when you look at what's going on with all the YouTubers doing it, all these YouTubers are in there making money, it's about getting your check. And I think this fight is about getting your check. But on top of that, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think there's enough juice in there and there's enough history in there with the legacy in it that makes it going to be it's going to sell. It's like, if it's not going to sell, it don't make sense doing it. So
it's going to sell ridiculously.
Right, and that's what it's about. At the end of the day, it's securing your legacy and it's also securing your finances. If the YouTubers are coming and showing you the way, like they're showing them the way. Like, and I was about that. I was about, look, I'm going to make hype because hype brings me money. That brings me through my door. Like, oh yeah, let's do boxing the authentic way, and this is all ruining boxing. No, it's not. It's putting more eyes on boxing.
Yes,
people. It's getting the fighters paid. It's about making dollars. Like, what the hell are you doing this for? You're doing this your career. Come on, man, wake up. This is a great opportunity to maximize the revenue for both fighters. It's like a no-brainer.
Yes, sir.
If you get a great fight out of it, if you get a great matchup out of it, and all the histrionic and all the drama, you know, the YouTubers, like, you've got to maximize your revenue, bro.
Sorry, Oli. Or Spencer, can you tell the missus to stop cracking up the knife and forks them in the background? Bro, it's like she's preparing the Sunday dinner, mate. Bro, what's going on here? Bro, so out the thing. You're eating on the thing. The missus is juggling up the knife and forks in the background and the cutlery. Bro, we need some order in this. Spencer, he's come quiet. Anyway, Miss Ringside, bro, I don't want your missus to come wrap me up when she sees me next. But anyway, Miss Ringside, thank you for the $17.99. Hi guys, I understand the Ring magazine is on the line next Saturday, but if Fury claims to retire, does he vacate the WBC? I really want AJ to win, but USYK looks big. Looking forward to Ben Eubanks. Big up you guys. Yeah, I know you came a little bit late, Miss Ringside. We touched on the Fury, and we did actually touch on that point, and the fact that the WBC have given him now to August the 26th to make up his mind whether he really wants to retire and not keep telling us he's retired and then not retire. So yeah, and we are now, as you can hear, talking about the Ben Eubanks. So let's carry on with the Ben Eubanks. I was saying, one of the brothers that messaged me, I got to read out the message because I was cracking up. Jermaine Williams, a regular on the show.
Come on.
He says, Eubanks looks like a suitcase and Conor Benn looks like a gangbanger.
Yeah, he said that as well. But I said she called it right. Look like he's Mexican the way he's got all them tattoos on him. I thought he's one of the essays. You know what I mean? But you know what?
On the realness, the fight, one thing I know about Conor Benn, he's coming to swing. If Chris Eubanks, a question here for Audley, if Chris Eubanks were to lose this fight,
He
where
said in the press conference.
What does the future hold for Eubanks Jr. and the same for the young man Conor Benn?
Well, Conor Benn's easy. I think it's easier. He's on because Conor Benn is what is he 17-0? Conor Benn's 21 wins, 14 KOs. So
yes.
If he drops, if he falls and he loses, it's easy for him to just have a little rest and come back.
Yes.
So because he's on the way up. But like you said, Chris Eubanks Jr. has been around a little bit more. He's had those losses. He had 2 losses, didn't he? He's
3 losses.
3 wins. I think he lost to Saunders, Billy Joy Saunders, and then he lost to Groves as well.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so he's only had the 2 losses, so he's still quite fresh.
Yes.
But in terms of like positioning and leverage, if Conor was to lose, Conor just comes back, and he just comes back as normal in his own weight division, no problem. If Eubanks gets the loss, then it's a little bit tougher for him for in terms of leverage and positioning. But again, I just think this is one of those fights where people are just taking advantage of it, which they're doing the right thing to. And I think they both carry on with their careers after. The likelihood of this fight is something tells me it's going to go the distance. Right? I'm not sure who's going to win right now. It's going to go the distance, and then they're going to have a rematch. Because I just think Conor. One thing about I think Conor Benn in his mindset is going to be, if I lose this fight, I'm losing on my feet. He ain't taking me out. I don't care what's happening. He's going to get it, and I'm going to win this fight. But if I don't win this fight, I'm on my feet. And I think in Eubanks' mind, he's never knocking me out. So I see it potentially going the distance, and it being close enough that they say, hey, look, we made nice little money. Let's do it again.
I know Conor routinely spars with bigger guys as well. Yeah. He's got John Ryder in the gym. He's also got the middleweight.
Craig Richards, who's a light heavyweight.
Cash. What's his name? Is it
Felix Cash?
Felix Cash. These are big guys, and I'd be interested to hear how these big guys what their take on the fight is. But one thing, listen, we've known Conor since he came over here and based himself over here. And he's a man with a lot of heart, will, and desire. And he's going to be up for this fight, Spence. He's definitely going to be up for this fight. He's
going to have to be up for this fight because, if you watched the press conference, I don't know if you watched it, Audley, but if you watched it, If you watched the press conference and Eubank was kind of playing it down, saying, look, I've got to get down to this weight, I've got to do and all the rest of it. And Conor was like, look, you're making excuses already. Look at this. You're making excuses already.
Ben, sorry, what weight is it being agreed at?
157.
Huh?
157. Now, I've also got to go by Eubank in his last fight against Liam Williams, right? The Welsh kid who boxed Boom Boom Andrade for the world title, right? He looked drained at the weigh-in, and I'm going by people who were there at the weigh-in. They saying Eubank looked drained getting down to 160. You know what I mean? Then he could rehydrate and everything else. He looked drained there. Now you're asking to come down 3 pounds lighter than that. Right now, obviously, you're getting millions of pounds for this fight. You're not getting no little whatever. You're getting millions of pounds for this fight. Him getting down to the weight, this is what I believe, right? And I'm not even putting my mouth on it, but I just believe this is going to happen. That Eubank makes the weight, but doesn't stay in with the rehydration clause. Because they're going to have a rehydration clause that you can't go over a certain weight, and I think he's going to come in over that weight and pay the fine. Because what they're not going to do is take away the fight not happening, because it's going to be too big. There's too much money involved. Right. And I think he's going to do what... Remember Corrales Castillo. You know what I mean? And Castillo, right. I said, listen, on this weight thing, I'm coming in at. And that's what I believe is going to happen. He's going to pay the fine.
And if he does that, as we saw with Jake Paul, Hassi Rahman Jr., Jake Paul said, "No, I'm not going to do that. If you're not going to cut the weight, I'm pulling the fight." But this fight is a different kettle of fish now. They can't pull the fight; it's too big. So they're just going to pay the fine. They'll pay the fine.
Listen, I think he's going to make the weight, but then he's got a rehydration clause, and then they do the weigh-in again. Well, all he never knew had to do that because he was fortunate enough to be a heavyweight. And then you got to be a certain weight by a set time on the next day, like 10 pounds over or whatever not. And I think USYK is going to come in over the weight. That's what I believe.
Yeah, and I think Conor's expecting that, and they're already preparing for that. They're not going to pull out. And if we have to go through a heavier guy, we're going to go through a heavier guy. Just one thing on the, I just pulled up their knockout percentages. I had it there from before. Yeah, and EUBANK's knockout percentage with his record, he's got like a 72% knockout percentage. And then Conor Benn is 66%, right? So what that means is, like, you look at something like Tyson, he's like 90%, yeah? So neither of them are out and out. They can take it out. They're not out and out one-punch knockout artists.
Yes.
So again, this kind of supports my notion that potentially it's going to go the distance because these guys can hurt you, but they're not out and out going to knock out man one go. And now you're fighting a decent fighter who've had 12 weeks to prepare. You're not just going to walk through them, regardless of the weight. So that's one thing to take into consideration, that you've got these guys are good punchers, similar to how the fathers were. I mean, I think Nigel Benn was a bit more explosive than Chris, but both of them could take you out with one punch. Like me, I had a 70% knockout ratio. But I weren't never punching like a Tyson, going to take you out one time, who had a higher percentage knockout ratio. So that's another thing why it's important to think about. If the guys are coming in heavy, and like Conor Benn could eat what he likes right now. He's going to be just beef up as well. They're both going to be like heavy. It's going to be hard to not eat either one of them out. And both of them, they both live the life. Every time I've never seen one of them come into out of shape. They're always so. Then you're going to be in great shape. It's going to be hard to knock him out one punch. It's going to go the distance.
What do you make of EUBANK? First of all, thank you, Thomas New, for the £2.
Thank you.
The EUBANK plays poker.
Yeah,
he will rehydrate heavy. Okay. What do you make of the comment? EUBANK said that he's not even training for this fight. He's like, fam, I don't even need to train hard for this fight here. I'm coming in maybe 60%. But guess what? My 60% is good enough to brock you up. Touch on that and why you feel EUBANK feels he can take Conor so lightly to the point where he's saying, I'm not putting myself through no hard training camp, bringing in tough sparring partners. That's what you need to do. If that's a mind games thing, it worked on me because I found that hilarious.
I mean, you said it. I had Chris EUBANK Jr. in Vegas with me when I was active. It was 10, 12 years ago. In fact, his dad sent him over there even from way back in the amateurs. He was there. In Barry, he was there. When I used to go Barry, I see him there. I'm like, right, he's young. So my dad sent him out here to get tough. So he's been in that tough environment. And I know Conor was over in Australia, wherever he was. But EUBANK Jr. has been in that tough environment, just like his dad wanted to go in that tough environment. Was in New York. So trust me, he's been around the Mayweathers. He's had that upbringing, yeah. So that swag, he has that swag. So I'm not surprised that he'll say that because it's all part of the swag. I'm not even going to train Joker. He don't have my experience. Look at I've been 32 fights. I've been around the gyms. Come on, this guy's coming up for welterweight. Come on, I don't even have to. This is like just a great little payday for me. Because I think in his mind, he's going to think, okay, I'm not going to knock him out. I can box him, outbox him. Anything he do, I can take his punch. And anything he do, I'm going to be able to stay ahead of him. Yeah, he's going to make it close. So I think that's his mentality. And Conor Benn is like, what do I have to lose? You get me? We have the legacy of our fathers. I will fight anybody anyway. And this is, what do I have to lose? Like, if I lose, they're going to say, well, he was heavier than me. He's more experienced than me. I got nothing to lose, and I get an opportunity to take his chin off, just like for my dad. You know what I mean? Just for that legacy. It's like there's no real losers there. I can't see no real losers in this. You know, unless the fight doesn't happen because of weight and he doesn't make the weight.
Nah, the fight's going to happen regardless. All the Ronnies, thank you for your 449. Why do man call him Eubanks? It's not Eubank. Yeah, we know that, and I'm going to tell you why. 1987, the dad, when he went out to America and he came back to the UK, he took the S off of their surname because he had two twin brothers, famously Peter and Simon, and it was Peter that beat Barry McGuigan. Was the first man to beat Barry McGuigan. The two twin brothers, they were Eubanks, spelt with an S, and Eubank. Yeah, Eubank said, "No, I'm cutting it off. I like the word Eubank, not Eubanks." So yeah, we know that. Also, someone in the comments, was it Santori? He said the same thing. So I'm glad that you're up on the history.
Yeah, you see this boy Spencer Fearon. You see this man, not boy. You see this man Spencer Fearon. He can tell you where your name originated from. This guy's got so much knowledge. It's unbelievable. And all you guys out there on the live, you might supposed to be contributing Snapchat weekly for the knowledge you are getting from this gentleman we know as the master knowledge, Spencer Fearon. Thank you for that. There's no way I would have just told him, bro. I'll call it how I'll call it. But he's actually giving you the you this evening, histonics. But I had to Google that word because I've never heard that histonics business. All he probably has because he's a highly decorated, educated man. But I had to Google
he's got a degree. All these are very, very clever individual. Right. Right. So, bottom line, how do you call the fight, Audley? How do you call the fight? How do you see this fight going?
So I think, I think he's going to go the distance, and I think if he's got the work rate that he's supposed to have, I think it's going to be close. I think Eubank may be just on points.
No. Or if this goes the distance.
I told he's going to go the distance. He's going to win it. I'm told this fight is going to go. I've told you that I'm 90% sure this fight goes the distance. For all the things I've explained. So then, anytime it goes the distance, it could be 2 points either way. Next thing you know, it's a draw, or one judge gives it by 2, 115, 113. Next one gives it 115, 130. Next one gives it the other way. Then you have a split decision. You know what I mean? So it's going to be that kind. Anytime it goes the distance, and it's the old scoring of 10-9, 10-9. If there's no knockdowns, there's going to be no 10-8. So it's going to be a close fight, just based off how the scoring system's done.
Tusiv Patel makes a good point. He says Eubank Jr. has been through a lot this past 18 months. And that's true. And that can also affect the psychology and his mentality going into the fight. We can't pretend that he hasn't been through a lot, losing a brother and stuff like that. And again, these are all points and things that can affect the fight going forward. But that's very interesting that you said that, Audie, and thinking about it, you could be right because, I know in Eubank's last fight, it was kind of like a safety approach fight when really you should have got him out there because he was dropping Liam Williams with jabs, and I feel that he could have kind of like AJ in the Pulev fight. Me and Spence were saying this fight ain't going 3 rounds. I think Spence actually said 3. I think
3 rounds. And he had him over in the 3rd round and dragged it out.
And he dragged it out. So maybe that killer instinct has gone, much like the father after the Watson fight. People said that he lost that killer instinct because of that fight. And, there are a few interesting points in this fight, and I'm going to take that on board, Oli, that you've said that it could go to points. I believe if it goes to points, Conor BENN is winning. If it goes to points, Conor BENN is winning that fight. Matchroom show. It's on a Sky platform. It's on a Sky platform or Matchroom?
No. It's on the Zone. That fight's on the Zone. That's going to be. Listen, this fight so needed to happen for all these old friends who Audley brought into the real realms of professional boxing, right? And this is factual. Audley was playing poker. Along came Eddie Hearn. They were reasoning. Audley said, "I'm going to make a comeback." Boom, boom, boom. So said, so done. Audley goes out. He wins up. He wins up the prize fighter. He does fantastically well. And then all of a sudden, he ends up fighting Michael Sprott dislocated shoulder, knocks him out with that looping, swinging left hand from his southpaw position, knocks out Michael Sprott. Next thing is he's European champion. Then boom, they say, you know what? Yep, you called out some certain man and said that David Hayes is a fair weather friend. And you know what? Because when you needed a leg up, I gave you a leg up. And now in reverse, now you're not helping, man. And the fight was on. And they made a bag of money together on pay-per-view. Eddie Hearn didn't even know how their pay-per-view platform worked. To his credit, I give him because he got in there, right? But it's Audley Harrison. It's Audley Harrison that brought them, man. No, let's call it as it is.
Blood, true story. But look, it happened to me once with the Olympics. You think when they took that 4 million, they ran? You think they would have if they had the, what could I say? Like, how could I say it? Like, trying to be diplomatic. Like, I've won your gold medal. Okay, that was for me. I turned pro negotiator.
The moralistic scruples that you hold.
Right, yeah. But, you know, it's like, you've now got all this money, 4 mil. You build a Sheffield Institute of Sport. You get all these boxers from Amir Khan to James DeGale, David Price, Tony Jeffries, and then the 2012 where it really kicked in, Joshua, Nicola Adams, the whole Luke Campbell, the whole thing. You'd think that they would say, you know what? None of this could have been possible without Audley. You get me? And they give me the due respect to, like, whatever it is. You get what I'm saying? They say don't talk about him. Keep him quiet. And they act like, you know, same with the pro thing with Eddie Hearn, because David Hay knew what was going on with the pay-per-view. I'm the only other guy that got to learn about the pay-per-view because I'd done the deal with him for pay-per-view. You know, and then obviously that pay-per-view deal, those structures, those numbers, obviously once I brought Eddie in and showed him what they looked like, he was able to then use that for everybody else. So I'm like, and everyone silent about that's why I walk around how I walk around, because I know what I brought to boxing. They kind of silent me, like, you get what I'm trying to say? I'm like the forefather, like the new beginning started with this guy here. You know what I mean? And I don't fight that. Like, I'm in America, I moved to America, and I walked away from it all because I knew if I stayed in England, I'd just be bitter in it. You'd just be there bitter, complaining. What, they're not recognizing me? They don't. The Sheffield Institute of Sport should be the Audley Harrison Institute of Sport. Because that it wasn't to me. You understand? So they try and, like, that's why I just said, you know what, let me just move away. No bitter feelings, all good. Because I know how I came. You know what I mean? I know what I brought, but it's all gravy. You get what I'm saying? I see my legacy in all of these guys that went on to win, and the fact that the boxing is in such a good place. Like I said, I was there for the Commonwealth. I was there in England, and you think they would have said, "Yeah, Audley, come up." You get me? I'm there with my family. Yo, Audley, come up, man. Cricket stuff, cricket, because they don't want the heat of. Right, there's Audley. You get what? Everywhere I go, I'm getting love still. The Olympics is 20 years ago, blood. And my pro career is long done.
22, sir. Right,
so we're in 2022. My career ended I retired officially 2015. My last fight was 2013. I walked down the street. I wasn't shaved while I was in England, right? And I got my glasses on, my hat on. No, everyone still recognized me. Yo, Audley, well, take a picture, blah, blah, blah. Family, kids. Because remember, I touch kids, and these kids don't know me, but the parents are the parents and the daughters and the sons.
You know, I'm just laughing, Audley. Yeah, I'm just
still got love for me. They're like, because they know what happened. They know what's up.
Big up, Audley. But you know, I'm just laughing at you because I remember when you fought David A. And go back to this YouTube thing, yeah, and you was talking about it's a money thing, yeah. Man in the barbershop, yeah, was saying that when you fought David A. David A must have shot out now, Audley, now.
Wow, no, that's cool. I'm never gonna buy into it like that. I'm never gonna buy into it like that. So look, like I said, like on the real with the David A thing now my career's like I tore my pec again for the second time here with the Michael Sprott. You have the historic with Michael Sprott. Now look, put yourself in my position, right? So I'm trying to get back there for a world title. Now the world title was locked. Beat Daddy Williams the second time. That's 2007. You know, I'm everyone's talking about me again. Everything's gravy. I'm back. Yeah? And I lose Michael Sprott. But the thing is, I'm signing a contract with Frank. I said I never wanted to work, so I'm now with Frank. And so when I lost to Sprott, it was like, okay, I've lost to Sprott. That's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy. and then I'm in the wilderness from 2007. That's my prime years, because I'm ready. So 2007 was done. 2008, I had to go back to Frank Warren. Lost to that guy in can't remember the guy, the Argentinian guy up in Manchester, right? So and then I bump into Eddie Hearn in 2009. So I'm in the wilderness, like can't get back. And then Eddie said, "Hey, come back, do the prize fight. Try." I'm playing poker in Vegas. I got no kind of love for this. 2009. I come back 2010, do the prize fighter. I'm like 39, 40 years of age now. I'm coming to the end. I turn back the prize fight, win the first one. But I'm in the wilderness, blood. Those years I'm in the wilderness trying to find my way back. So then me and Eddie get together. I do the prize fight the second time. Okay, look, things started to look good. I lose to Michael. I done fight the prize fighter. Then I fight Sprott for the European. Tear my pec in the fight. Go to my doctor. My doctor said, "Oh, this is your second time because it tore in 2002." He's like, "You're done." Like, how am I going to be done? Same as the Olympics. They say, "Oh, all your knuckles done. You can't fight in the time." I'm like, I'm fighting. I can't retire right now. I just beat Michael Sprott in histrionic. So they sold me up again. I get the opportunity to fight for the world title. I even spoke to Leonard. I spoke to so many people that Audley, look, you got 6 months. Doctor says you need 12 months to get ready. And Hayes people is like, well, we're not waiting 12 months. You're either ready in 6 months or we're done. So I took the fight. Obviously, it's a great payday. And I'm like, I hope I can get there. But you can't, you want to get there. You want to know. Like, my confidence walking out to that fight wasn't 100%. No doubt about it. It was like, no, I walked out believing. I kidded myself I could. I got myself there mentally. Yeah, I can. But like training was like 70%. You're fighting for a world title. You can't 7%. I couldn't jab. The start of the camp, I couldn't even jab because it was still in rehab. And I had to work. I had a guy just in camp to push my hand. But I got there mentally, or I thought. But then reality is when I'm standing there. So even though I never ever said now, but it's like, because David's like, right, Audley's not jumping on me because he thought I was going to jump. And I was just buying time, like, and my jab wasn't, because my thing was that once I put you on my jab, it's over. And I didn't have a big jab. I had this would just come behind it. You wouldn't even know. But David was like, I could never put him on my jab. I'm trying to, and because my jab wasn't sharp, I'm trying to put it. I kept on just having, I'm in the wilderness, but I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I'd say I quit, I didn't quit. He knocked me down with 10 punches. I still got up. And he hit me with another 10 before the referee stopped me on my feet. I mean, I took 20 punches before I went down. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing I can be proud of. Definitely not. But I tried to make the best of a bad situation. But again, I'm like, I can't turn this fight down. You know, the money was I can't, and that's the only time I've taken a fight, obviously, and you can see it. Because you don't take a fight for money. Like I said, Danny Williams rematch, it weren't about, I didn't pay me nothing. And that's the mentality you want to go into a fight with. I'm not doing it for them. You get what I'm saying? Like this fight here, yes. I think partly they take like EUBANK, they take it for the money. It's a great fight, great payday. What's there to lose? For Conor, there's no losses. It was like, what's there to lose?
No losses.
For EUBANK, I'm going to say make the guy happy. For EUBANK, OS, he has more to lose in this fight if he loses. But I think
okay. So we want to have some. This is truth time now. We want 2 answers. No sitting on the fence. None of that. First one. The winner, in your humble opinion, USYK, Anthony Joshua.
My heart says AJ's going to get this right.
We'll leave it there.
My heart says AJ's going to get this right.
I don't want to hear about no head thing. Just the heart. I want to leave that in the
heart said Anthony Joshua's going to get this right. He's going to figure it out with his team, and he's going to turn it around. And for him to win, it's not going to be on points.
Knockout.
Because you know
AJ by knockout.
Because you know why? One thing I've seen from USYK is a little overconfidence. I'm starting to see a little overconfidence in his like personality and the way he's running around, and that could be to his detriment. Like,
yes, sir.
You know, once you get overconfident, you start slipping and you make a little mistake. So that could be to his advantage. So I'm going that
AJ is gonna clap him with a right hook. Good night, nurse. Head or body, but A-Force AUDLEY Harrison is going for Anthony Joshua, possibly by KO, but definitely the win. That's his heart, and we know the heart is the most powerful thing in the body, so we're going with the heart. Right, second question, Chris Eubanks Jr., young Conor BENN. Who wins? That's what I want to know. I don't want to know why. I just want to know who's winning that fight.
But again, going with my heart, and what you just said about, and going with what I know is going to go the distance, and the fact that it's a Eddie Hearn show, so officially he may look like he may nib it, but they're going to give it to Conor BENN on points.
Wow.
Very distance. The fight 100%, 90, never say that, 90%, 99%, I'm saying is going the distance. And a lot of people may think EUBANK did enough to win, but they're going to give it to BENN on points.
Come on. Bruv, I'm rolling with you this evening, Ord. So we're going for AJ KO, and we're going Conor BENN via 12-round points decision at the O2 Arena.
Split decision.
AUDLEY, it has been an absolute pleasure as always. We've got to make you a regular because the thing
people
about
love him. Amir's on the live right now, Ton.
This is what I was about to say. The thing about when you come on, you hold the audience. It doesn't fluctuate. It's all 490, 500 people live. And we know that thousands more are going to listen after because it's Sunday, people want to get in bed ready for Monday. But the thing is that you hold the audience and, it's a discussion between us, which, we like to listen to what you say. You're very, very powerful individual. Still, your voice is very, as I said at the top, very relevant. And we always learn something by listening to you. I mean, look, you don't have many interviewees that come on pre-prepared. Man's got box record out. Man, AUDLEY's ready. He's a student in this thing here. And, I'm very grateful and thankful to you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep educating us. Keep talking about what you've done. And keep letting... There's a lot of young people that don't know who AUDLEY Harrison is. We have to be educated about what you've done for boxing, British boxing, and the amateur system, which they are competing in. So big up yourself, A-Force. Spence, before that, Thomas Newell, thank you for the £5. I feel AJ needs an empty the tank moment. When Yard was heading for a points loss, they went for it. I hope AJ gets the win or gets stopped trying. And that's the kind of fight AUDLEY Harrison said it needs to be. It needs to be that Deontay Wilder, just go for it. You got to. You can't leave anything. You can't leave that stadium that night thinking, what if? If you're feeling tired, fam, just go for it. And I'm in agreement with you there, Thomas Newell. Thank you for the £5. Spence?
Yep, like I said, plum, pleasing pleasures to have AUDLEY Harrison. AUDLEY Harrison just held me up and said, yeah, we're doing the show or what? I said, what, you still in London? He said, no, I'm in America. I said, no, big up AUDLEY Harrison for that. Also sent condolences for my mum. So big up AUDLEY Harrison, always a plum, pleasing pleasure because you speak the reals. And that's what I enjoy having you on here. No sitting on the fence, no splinters in the bottom, just talk the thing. AUDLEY Harrison, the A-Force is still a force to be reckoned with. Peace, two fingers. Bless. Thank you very much, AUDLEY.
Thank you, Ods.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the love. Thanks for being on the show. Great talk, great entertainment, the knowledge. Tunde, you guys are doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing, man, and just go on good. Bless up.
Love.
Yeah. Love.
Spence, AUDLEY's serious, man. Always love listening to AUDLEY. He's just a great guy and
well for knowledge.
Truth and talks what's in his heart and not ashamed of it. And
not ashamed of it. And I just like listening to AUDLEY because he will speak the game. And it's like a lot of people they're worried too much about this brethren-ship business in this game. You know what I mean? But then if you're respecting the brethren-ship, you should still be able to give an honest opinion. You know what I mean? You don't have to, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm looking forward to it. But this week, you know what I mean? This week, it's going to be a great show coming up this week because Keys to Victory will be done. Yes, Country Don, big up yourself. There will be Keys to Victory that will be done by myself and Tunde Ajayi. But we've got to get Tunde on the right time because you know he's in camp as well, right? But we will be doing Keys to Victory for both USYK and AJ this week because we're going to get some mad numbers. I might even get into the gym with Tunde and we do some breakdowns for you. I mean, let's see. Let's see how that goes. We've got to talk to Gary, but I think Gary's changing nappies right now or putting some SMA. What was it? SMA. What was the baby powder?
Yeah, remember that thing there. SMA. I remember that thing there.
SMA. Big up P. Thank you so much, P, for the £10. Big up, brothers. Big up, Audley. Peace and blessings. Ton, I beg, leave in peace and please don't wear that top again.
Bro, this is the greatest top on earth right now, fam. The greatest top on earth. Arsenal, the Gunners. Brock up, man. First game of the season. And we're going to keep this thing going. But yeah, great show, Spence. Really enjoyed tonight's.
I enjoyed that. I mean, unfortunately, Ambrose Mendy was on the line waiting. I said, look, because Audley was so in the thing, I said I could do Ambrose in a week, and we still got.
You should bring him up. I didn't know he was on the line, but you should have bring him in.
Yeah, he come begging to come in. I said, look, man, just wait. But no, seriously, I didn't want to. You know how it goes.
It'd been good to listen to Ambrose, even if it was a little 10 minutes. You know, he should have.
Yeah, you know what? We'll get. When I'm doing a breakdown for Audley Harrison, when I get the breakdown for AJ USYK or USYK AJ 2, I'll get Ambrose in up on the weekend.
Ambrose is really more for the Ben Eubanks. Just
listen, that's the only listen to me. Yeah, I'll say to anyone, just go watch back Ambrose Mendy, how incremental he was in the progression of Nigel Ben.
Man said he can't come in front of Audley. Got Audley Harrison's big right there, fam.
Bro,
mash up Audley's thing, we need to hear Audley.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And we're like I said, Ton, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed today. And you know, I've really enjoyed it.
Energy.
I didn't even have to talk today. You know what I mean? And neither did you. We just had to just sit and just listen to how Audley was breaking it down. I hope that people enjoyed what Audley Harrison had to say. Loads of people like to turn around and say Audley Harrison was an underachiever. Now, I'd like to know if a man won a Commonwealth gold,
yes,
an Olympic gold,
yes,
an ABA championship, so he's national champion, right? Yes. Goes out and fights as a professional boxer, becomes a Commonwealth champion, and a European champion, and challenges for the WBA heavyweight title of the world. I don't see that as an underachiever.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir. In fact, where he's come from, some would say he's overachieved. You know, but yeah, it is what is a great guy, and look forward to having him back on this illustrious, great show. Because that's what this show is. This show is. We just touch on everything, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Proud to sometimes hear you spit. I've been hearing it from day one before the show, but sometimes you continue to amaze me with your knowledgeable self, and just keep doing what you're doing, Spence. Keep studying.
You just keep on doing what you're doing. I'm looking forward. Like this week, like I said, I come down the gym. I see a young man who you got. He's having his first pro fight. Bro. I see Joe's having his first pro fight. I see the posters. Look. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this kid because I think.
Bear in mind, he's the first person I've trained since Anthony.
Yeah, because Tony don't train fighters. So this youth must have something for Tony to go and start training this youth. So I'm really, really looking forward to his pro debut.
It was actually Anthony who said, "Nah, Unks, nah, bro. I know what he said about it, but this youth's got something. It's Ant. I must get Ant's blessing. You know, I had to get Ant's blessing.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to the journey. As like I said to Joel, come in the dance quiet, leave noisy. Brock up, man, on the thing. Yeah, because he's a great young man, and really trains hard. That's what I can say.
And like I'm saying, I'm looking forward to that. He's like, it's a BT debut,
Yes.
and I'm looking for some debut knockout because everyone's telling me about this Stefan Newt that Tundi's got. I've been saying all the word on the street around. Tundi's got some brother, you know, he's like a thumper man. You know what I mean? So I'm being real. Big up Kurt Campbell. I'm looking forward to this one. You know what I mean? And on that note, because we've given you
1 hour 45.
hour and 45 minutes
Yes, sir.
of the knowledge and the master genius. So, in the famous words of Tunde Ajayi, as we end the show,
And he's a Ghanaian boy working with a Nigerian guy, Joe Kadua. His brother, young brother, plays for West Ham. Young Kadua, bruv, sporting family, and I'm looking forward to. We didn't even touch on the Tiafimo Lewis, but the
did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it?
Forget Tiafimo tonight, but we
Yeah,
tried
but did you see it? No, did you see the fight?
Yeah, I saw the fight.
I saw the fight. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they got that brother from who was fighting. Let's leave it at that. That's another story for another day. We'll deal with it on another time.
Anyway, thank you, Thomas Riley. Fantastic show as ever. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us your time, because time is the only thing you ain't getting back. You ain't getting that. Once that's gone, that's gone. And for so many people to stay locked in for almost 2 hours is incredible. It's great. Ladies and gentlemen, we end by saying, dream it, believe it, become it.
Come on down. Thanks to every single person up on the live. Thanks to MC Shiesty, because she's always sharing our stuff. Big up my sister from another mister. Everyone on the live. Everybody's who's paid in some money. And we'll see you this week for Keys to Victory for USYK and Joshua, with myself, Spencer the Knowledge Ferron, and my brother from another mother, Baba Tunde Ajayi, the Master Genius. Peace, two fingers, we're out.